Hey guys, let's get right into it. So Kalani and her son. Kalani's eldest son finally apologizes to her for acting a fool at their son's birthday party. But I only think that he apologized to her because he wanted to drop this bomb on her that he wants the family to go visit his mother and sister. And as soon as he said that, I was just like, Kalani, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. It seems like a setup to me. I feel like Asuelu wants to get Kalani in front of his family so that she can get the same treatment that he received from her family. It seems like a setup to me. And this bus that he's talking about, that he's going to put you in the driver's seat, he's going to have his sister drag you out of that bus and put his mama in the driver's seat and have her run you over several times. Don't do it, sis. I don't trust it. Because Asuelu is that immature and that petty to me. I think that he would really put her in that situation so then he could look at her and be like, well, this is what your family does to me. This is what happens when you marry a child. Not like that. I just said it out loud and I was like, wait a minute. You know what I'm talking about. So we finally get to meet or see Kalani's eldest son family. You got another kid, girl. So we finally get to meet Asuelu's mother and his sister. Asuelu, listen. If you don't listen to nothing else that I'll say on here, because I know somebody in that family is watching. Get your mother an agent. She is a character. That mother was hilarious. I could see Tyler Perry putting her in every and anything. She's hilarious. She is a character, that sister. Okay. As soon as we met the sister, I was just like, yeah. So it's something in the family. It's like a gene. It's something in that family because the sister had the same like Asuelu thing that he has. That's very like, is everything okay? Like she had that same thing. So I was like, oh, it's in the bloodline. It's in the DNA. It's something in that strain, that Asuelu strain. Kalani, you better pray over them kids that they don't get that Asuelu strain. So not even 5 minutes into their conversation, at least that's how they edited their conversation, the mother and the sister start asking him for $1,000. I'm just like, he already ain't helping her with the bills. He did not get this home. She got that from her parents. You think he has $1,000 laying around to give you? You know the son you raised? She just outright asked for it. Now, I understand that that is the tradition, that is the customs. In no way am I disrespecting that. But I don't think that the mother realizes that Asuelu is a kept man. He's not providing for Kalani. Her family is. So in a sense, you're asking Kalani for that money, or maybe you're slick and you already know who you're really asking the money from. Because the mother was just like, I need the $1,000. Do you have it? And he was like, I don't. What did you see in him, Kalani? Girl. And then the sister, did you catch what she said? She was just like, oh, well, you know that this is what we do. You have to make sure that you put your family first. Which one? You talk about you and your mama, not his wife and his kids? I couldn't believe that Kalani just sat there and rolled her eyes. Baby, the minute the sister did this, the minute she did this to my husband, I would have clicked that screen down so fast, I would have ended that Zoom money grabbing call within seconds. Excuse me? You got to take care of your family first before you take care of you. What? And you say that with a straight face, looking at his wife and his son. So you're okay with taking money away from them to feed you first? Is that the traditions? Not knocking it, but it wouldn't fly here. It wouldn't fly here. Kalani just sat there. And then Asuelu was just like, oh, I can send you 1,000, but Kalani wants, she wants me to only send you 5. He throws her right. Remember that bus? Remember that bus that he said that she was going to be in the driver's seat? Look how fast he turned. Girl, don't go to that family reunion. Don't go meet that family. Don't go meet that mama. Don't go meet that sister. You're going to be broke and you probably going to get beat up. You look like you can fight. But that sister, her jaw alone, I was like, oh my goodness, I know she got hands. I know she got hands. Which is why, girl, if you're watching this, I'm just joking. Because I can fight. You know what I mean? I can fight, women. I don't know what you working with, girl. You are just odd all around, and I'm not trying to box with that. Maybe outside of this Zoom call, she's probably really effeminate. But from what I saw, I was just like, she seems like she chews glass for fun. Elizabeth and Andre, can I just say, this couple makes me unhappy. Every time I watch this show and I realize that they're going to be on it, I just get so sad. I don't enjoy watching them. They are a lot like Paul in a sense where they are fatigue demons. This relationship is tiring to watch. I can only imagine what it's like being a part of it because I get so frustrated and then like there's no growth. I hope that if this couple comes back, we can see a different side. Like I said, I really enjoyed this couple on 90 Day Fiancé self-quarantine. I just felt like that was real and I could tolerate them. I can't tolerate them on this show. They're just so exhausting to watch. Anyway, Liz, her father and her brother finally come to Moldova for the wedding. As soon as Andre sees them, he starts acting like really cold. He barely gets up to greet the father. And you guys know how I feel about how they treat this man who supports all of them. I'm looking at Andre like, this man is paying for your second wedding. The least you could do is act like you enjoy his presence. He can't even fake it. So they get in the car and the brother in his confessional, he was just like, I don't know nothing about this dude. They met online. Next thing you know, she was pregnant and they were getting married. So I want to get to know Andre now since I have the time, I have the space. I want to get to know him. So in the car, the father and the brother are asking questions. Andre then becomes very evasive by one really important question. What kind of work did you do when you lived here? Andre's being very evasive. And I'm like, if you were a detective, like, what's the big deal? You were a police officer. Can you not speak about being a police officer in Moldova? Like, I don't know why he was very vague about that. And then he said that something happened and he moved to Ireland and he started working in Ireland as a bouncer. But he was very vague in his confessional when talking about why he left Moldova to go to Ireland. And he was even more vague with Elizabeth's father and brother. And then Elizabeth is sitting there not knowing any of this. This girl is trying to save face, but I'm like, Mama, you don't even know why he left as well. You have no idea. She then gets frustrated with her father and brother because they're asking very important questions that you should know the answer to. She can't answer none of that. She's sitting over there looking at Andre trying to figure out what he about to say. You the wife. You're the wife and you don't know this? You don't know if you're harboring an assassin, a terrorist. You don't know what this dude did while he was in Moldova. You done already hitched your life to him with your child. Elizabeth, it's the parents' fault. You are just too old to be this dense. This is sad, sis. This is really, really sad. So the father and the brother are not happy about how vague Andre is because this is the thing, right? I would be alarmed too if I asked you just like a simple question and you're just like being like, oh, stop talking about it. I'm not going to tell you anything about my past. Well, what the hell was your past? Because I wasn't even thinking about that. But now I'm concerned because you done said something. So they get to the home and obviously the family is just not happy with the way Andre lives his life in America. They don't like it. The brother and the sister-in-law. Did you watch her during this whole dinner? She was so pissed when she was speaking about Andre not working. I was just like, oh, y'all don't like this at all. Y'all do not like that Andre is a kept man. The only one who likes this situation is Andre. So Elizabeth's brother starts asking Andre's brother about what happened with him, being a police officer. Come to find out, Andre was like a police officer for just a year. So they finally got a timeline and then Andre gets mad at them. And he's just like, why you want to know this? Now I feel like everybody's attacking me. Andre, your behavior to this one question is why everybody is becoming very concerned. You're acting like something really bad happened. That's why you left Moldova. But it seems like the family don't know. If they do know, they're being really good about acting shocked by his reaction. Something here is going on and it seems just by the way Andre is reacting, that is very serious. Oh, Elizabeth, this show is so messy. I guarantee you they know. I guarantee you they done looked into Andre's paperwork, all his files. They know. And they're going to have some extra come on this show and reveal it. Girl, reality TV will do you dirty every time. That's why I say when you come on these shows, you better have a product to hawk. get something out of it because they're getting everything out of you. Before we get into Andre and Elizabeth's awkward fight at this feast, the dad, he was so amazed that Andre's mother cooked all of this food for him, so he thought. But when he thanked her for making such a huge feast, she was just like, oh, this is a tradition. We do this all the time. Like, basically, this ain't for you. This is a regular Saturday night at my home. I was shocked by that. I was like, do you not know Italian people? I know they don't know black people. I just get a feeling. I just get a feeling. And, oh, you know what they do? Because they got a black grandbaby. Now, wait a minute. If you are in such close proximity to blackness, how do you not know about a feast? That's all we do. That's why we suffer with the sugar, because we are a feast people. How, I don't, what's their culture? Are they just American? Oh, y'all just American. Y'all don't do feasts unless it's the 4th of July. Ooh. I can't believe she made this feast for us in that tiny kitchen. No, she didn't. It seems like mother is always shaking and baking in that little kitchen. So now let's talk about a scam that I see brewing. So Andre's father brings out this wine after Elizabeth's father is so mesmerized by this feast that he ate nothing from. Daddy ain't touched that food. He might have ate a pickle, but that was it. So his father brings out this wine, and I feel like it just felt like to me that they were trying to sell it to him, because the brother hopped in and the dad hopped in, and then they were just like, oh, we want you to go make, our wine with us. And they were telling him about all the properties and the qualities and how fresh it is. And I was just like, I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but I see something. This family realized that Andre got a big fish and they all gonna eat off of Papa. It looked to me as if they were trying to get an investor for their vineyard. I don't think I'm wrong. After Andre avoids asking questions about his past, then Elizabeth's father and Andre's dad starts talking, and Andre's brother starts talking about like why he doesn't work. And the brother was like, I don't know why he doesn't work. Moldovan men don't do that. We normally, work and the woman stays home and takes care of the child. And then the sister-in-law, well, why don't you get him a job? And the dad is like, well, I did. He doesn't want to do it because of his pride. And when he said that, that whole table was like, they just got so disgusted with Andre, which made him upset. And then Elizabeth, who now has her family, her support, and her father, her brother, her protectors, she now has a battery in her back. So she's just like, I know, I want him to work. I want him to get a job. Moldovan men, they aren't all like this, right? And Andrea's like, what are you doing? Because we had an agreement that I stay home with the baby. You suggested that because you said you didn't feel comfortable with having anybody else watch our child. I believe it. I believe everything that Andre said. So he was feeling some way, because he's just like, now you getting in front of your family and my family and acting like I'm a bum. You are. But I get how you feel, bro, because you guys had a conversation and Elizabeth agreed to this. Now she's getting frustrated. She never told you. She told the world in her confessionals. She told her family. She definitely told them sisters, but she never told you that she's ready for you to stop watching the baby and get out there and start making some bread to bring home to this family. So now they're getting into it. And Andre is just like, well, if I don't work, if I don't contribute to the house, why do you want to marry me? Trying to be slick. Trying to say something a little slick to hurt her feelings. Elizabeth, who has the battery in her back, and was just like, well, I don't want a second wedding. Did y'all see the brother? He was like, the brother wants this. He doesn't want this relationship to work out. And the dad was like, he was excited because he realized that if Elizabeth holds true to her word, he don't got to pay for another wedding. Andre's family, who don't know what's going on, but they know that there's something uncomfortable happening. It was really awkward and uncomfortable to watch. Elizabeth gets up and walks off, and Andre is just sitting there embarrassed. I'm so glad that she did that in front of people, because listen, seeing Andre jump at her, I'm always just very watchful. I'm always just very watchful of his behavior. I'm not saying that he is abusing her, but the jump, when you jump at anybody, it's like to intimidate them, and like when he jumped at her, I was just like, ooh, this is ugly. So I'm thinking that because they were in front of, his family and her family, he didn't get as aggressive as he normally does, which is maybe why Elizabeth felt so comfortable to really speak her truth. That seems to be a common theme with Elizabeth concerning this relationship. She tells us in her confessionals how she feels. She tells her sister, she tells her brother, she tells everybody else but Andre. I don't know if it's because she's scared of him or she's scared of him leaving her. Don't know what it is. Then when she gets in the midst of her family, she's able to speak her truth. And it always throws Andre off because he's never heard that up until now. And he's hearing it while he's on the spot in front of other people. So I don't know what's going on there. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that she's like afraid to talk to him because she doesn't want to get into like a really, you know, scary argument? Or do you think that she's just afraid to say those things to him because she doesn't want to lose him? Let's discuss in the comment section. Paul and Karine. So Paul and another one of his Forest shirts. Guys, I think at this point that Paul is a Forest shirt influencer. I think that's what it is. I think they're sending him these shirts so that he can wear it while he's on the show and be some kind of sponsor for them and get a percentage off of it. It can't be a lot. It can't be a lot because Paul gets a trailer, a studio trailer for Karine, the baby, and him to live in. I didn't even know that studio trailers existed. Why? Let me tell you something. Remember in my last video when I was talking about, I was looking at, you know, luxury trailers just to see what was out there. The nicest and most expensive trailer that I saw was $89,000. It was like a 3-bedroom. It was just long, huge, spacious. Everything was brand spanking new. It was energy safe or something like that. Like everything was just, it was a techie on a budget's dream home, and it was $89,000, right? So I can only imagine what this studio trailer costs Paul. If he's paying rent on this thing, his rent has to be $10 to $15 a month, a year. Like what? I have never in my life heard of or seen a studio trailer until tonight. And of course, this information was brought to me by way of Paul. I'm shocked that he was even able to get a place. So I'm glad that he was able to do that for his family. I will say, when he went into the trailer, he was working really hard because Karine was on her way with the baby. And he just wanted to make a great impression. And he did. He really, really did. Because when Karine walked in, she looked around. She inspected the place. We didn't know what her reaction was going to be. I thought she was going to be like, too small, Paul. Too small. But she really liked it. She really liked it. She looked at him and she said, good job. So I was happy for the both of them, that she was in a place that she felt comfortable and that he was able to finally provide for his family, because we were able to see a different side of Paul when he saw that he had made Karine happy. They had a little moment where they were able to like really laugh and have fun together. And we haven't seen this couple be like that for like years. So it was really good to see that they were finally in a really good place. Even though their studio trailer was the same size as the dog's cage outside. Listen, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. But Paul, what are you doing with your money? You've been on this show for at least, what, 3 seasons? How do you not have any money? I hope you guys are faking living in a studio trailer because, listen, ain't nothing wrong with it. If this is what you can afford, fine. Paul is on national TV. This show is worldwide. He is on a billion-dollar network. Why are you dead broke, sir? You've been on this show for seasons, and dare I say, you are a star of this franchise. What's going on with the money? Karine, take over all the spending. Take over the bank accounts and all of that stuff, because if you guys are getting money and this is how you have to live, Paul is doing something. I don't know if he got a little coke habit or a gambling habit, or, you know, he's probably in a Forest shirts. Probably all your damn money is going to Forest shirts. That's the issue. He got a Forest shirt addiction. Something ain't right here. Something is not right. No American on this show. Because we know that you guys are not only getting paid more, you're probably the only cast members getting paid. So no American should be living like that. Especially if you are 3 seasons on this show. There's no way. There's no way. If you guys are on this show, you have to be under contract with SAG. You are in a freaking union and you were dead broke every season. Something ain't right. Either you faking this or you are bad with money, Paul. So Michael and his abuser, they are shopping at a Nigerian street market because they have to get food, because Angela is supposed to cook dinner for his mother and sister who are coming over to meet with Michael and his soon-to-be bride. Angela the whole time was acting a plumb fool. She's complaining about the conditions. She doesn't like the way stuff looks. She doesn't like the way stuff smells. I'm an American. I'm not doing this. I'm not cooking American. You're going to be in the kitchen. I'm like, you just told a black man on national TV that he's going to be in the kitchen cooking for you. The optics of this relationship. Anyway, she's just acting so ignorant. She's being so disrespectful to Michael's culture. He's sitting there taking it all in because he really wants to get to the United States, and everybody at home is watching this show and cringing. She's just acting so ignorant. And I'm like, Angela, I can't believe you're acting like this when everybody knows that you are a frequent Walmart shopper. Ain't no way you a regular at Costco or Target. Girl, please. Girl, please. Walmart is your everyday stop. Stop it. Stop playing with me. She has this character that she does on this show where she's this, you know, I'm this all-American. I don't eat this. We don't live like that. And then she gets in the car. Thank God for America. Thank God for America. Ma'am, please. We saw your house. We saw them grandkids that was covered in crackers and feces. Stop it. Stop it. You shop at Walmart every day, but you can't shop at this Nigerian street market because of the way it looks. Have you seen Walmart? You're tripping out at a goat's head. Oh my God, it's a goat's head. It's a goat's head. Get me out of here. Get me to America. Get me out of here. A goat's head? Really? It's normal to see a severed human head in a Walmart next to a Sprite bottle. But you're tripping out over this goat's head. Let me tell you, every time I go to Walmart, I got to cover myself in the blood of Jesus because I don't know what I'm about to walk into. I just can't get with this act because I'm an American. And every American watching this show knows exactly what kind of American Angela is. And it's not an elite. So why is she acting like that? We see you, Ma. We know who you are. So why are you trying to look down on this guy like you live in far better conditions? You don't. You may have the opportunity to do so, but you don't, because that's who you are. I'm so disgusted by her behavior. I can't. Michael, do you really need to get to the U.S. by way of her? There's no groupies, nobody willing to sponsor you. The show is not willing to sponsor you. Do you really have to go this route? Anyway, we get back to their home and she's like, I'm telling you, I'm not making it. You're going to make the food. I'm not doing it because you're marrying an American woman and in America, things. So Michael's mother and sister come over and they see the food. And of course, they're not pleased. First of all, when Michael's mother walks into the home and sees her son in the kitchen shaking and baking, her face fell to the floor. She was like, what is this? Why is, let me try to do, I'm going to try. Drag me in the comments like you will. Let me tell you something. No one drags me more often than my Nigerian subscribers. My God, today. My God, today. One of you will drag me, and then all of you will start tagging into that one comment. Then you'll do your own comment. So you know what? Listen, let's get ready for the dragging. My son? No, I could do it. My son is in the kitchen. No, that was Coming to America. Yeah, I'm going to get dragged. Anyway, she was so thrown off by that. And the sister was just like, what are you doing? Because in our culture, you know that this is not customary. Like, you basically have to be the husband in this situation. She keeps on trying to force Michael to be somebody that he's just not going to be in a relationship with Angela. What I will say, all of their scenes this episode and every episode is just cringeworthy, right? But what I did like was the fact that Michael's family did not enjoy the food, right? But Michael's captor was just like, I'm going to save the day. I'm going to give you an American meal, a meal that we eat in America. And what I thought was really cute was this cultural exchange between Michael's captor and Michael's mother. Michael's captor asked her to take a bite of it. And at first the mom was just like, she didn't want to take, a bite of the pizza, but she finally did. And then Angela was just like, well, in America, this is how we eat it. So she picked up the pizza and she started eating it. And the mom, she picked it up with both her hands and she was eating the pizza and she was like, this is very good. That moment was sweet. This is the thing, right? We get really sweet, rare, sweet moments with Michael's abuser. It's really unfortunate because in that moment, you like her. And then right after it, it's another scene and you're just disgusted by how she's acting and treating this. It's unfortunate, Angela. It's unfortunate because I think there is something in you that is likable. You just don't show it often. We get a glimpse of it and then it's gone. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be really honest. I do not, y'all know, if y'all watch me long enough, y'all know, I do not want to take a check out of anybody's hands, especially another woman. Colt and Larissa don't need to come back next season. Their scenes are so fake and forced. If I wanted to watch a sketch, I would turn on Comedy Central. I want to watch a reality TV show, not some amateurs try to attempt sketch comedy. I'm at my wit's end with Colty and Larissa because we start off with Colt and Debbie and they are in Brazil and they're on their way to meet Jess's family. I will say this, Colt and Debbie especially have reservations about Jessica, right? Until they saw her home. And then they realized she was living better than them. Because when Debbie saw her home, she was like, oh, this is really nice. Why are you shocked? Why are you shocked that a woman in Brazil lives in a nice home? What were you expecting? Because she has her son as this kind of prize and thinks that Jess is trying to, get with him to get, a green card. Or does that come when you get married? Just to get to America legally. That's what she thinks is happening here. I do think that, right? I also think that Jess likes Colt. I think she is into this man. I don't think she's scamming. I thought so in the beginning, but I'm like, this episode, the dinner with her family, talking to her dad about him, and then their conversation later, I'm like, I think you really like this man. Nothing wrong with it. Girl, you better watch past seasons. But I think there's something there. I don't know if there's anything there with Colt. I think that he has been acting ever since him and Larissa got big from this show. Because we're here at this dinner, nothing that he is saying to Jess or Jess's father is believable. Like, it all seems like some really weak community theater performance. I really care about your daughter. And then he does that like weird eyebrow thing. And I'm just like, Colt, what? I'm not believing anything. I believe Jess's father, though. He was really, sizing Colt up because, that's his baby. That's his baby girl. You can tell that they have a really close relationship and he wants to make sure that this is, a good guy for her. So he was asking the right questions, but the questions that he was asking, Debbie wasn't comfortable with it because she wants to protect her man from Jess and her father. So the dad is asking reasonable questions, understandable questions concerning Colt and his daughter, and Debbie's getting upset and trying to interrupt, right? So finally, after Colt passes the dad test and he kind of gets an in, Debbie realizes that, her son is taking the next step with another woman that's not her. So she then said, after Colt gets the blessing to date Jessica, don't you think they're moving a bit too fast? And everybody at the table was just like, who are you? Them aunts was looking at Debbie like, girl, don't start it because we will finish it. So Jess started to feel some sort of way. And I will say, I got where Jess was coming from. She had a bad introduction to Debbie, their first night together in Brazil. And now Debbie is at her family's table, questioning her relationship. So Jess felt some sort of way, but I do think that if you were trying to be with this man, you should respect his mother. I do think that she got out of, her and Debbie were, at first talking, but you could see that Jess was getting very emotional, very upset about Debbie questioning their relationship. Because I was with Jess until she did the to Debbie. And I was like, oh, sis, even if you're right, you can't do that to his mother. Like, you just cannot do that. And I don't think you can do that to any mama because I know that my mom would have reached across that table and popped Jess. Jess was disrespectful. I agreed with her. Everything she said was right. When she was talking to her family, she was just like, listen, she does everything for him. She cleans for him. She cooks for him. This is her baby boy. Like, he needs to be a man. Like, everything that she was saying was right. I don't think she should have said it in that environment while they were there. And I don't think she should have did all of this to Debbie. That, I felt some sort of way when she did that. I was like, oh, girl. You did it to the right one. The right one. So then after it gets heated, Debbie threatens to leave and, I'm gonna go. You're not gonna talk to me like that. So she threatens to leave. And everybody at the table is like, okay, like nobody cared. Nobody cared. Colt calmed everybody down. And, then he looks at his mother and he goes, maybe we should get you a cab. Did you see Debbie's face when he said that? She was like, because she thought that her man was going to go home with her and lay up with her. And, oh, let me stop. But she just felt some way that he decided to stay and, you know, send her to the hotel room. But I'm like, girl, he's 34 years old. He's 30. He is not your husband. He is your son. And he will never have a wife or a life if you continue to hold him back. You're smothering him. You two need to be on Smothered. Y'all don't need to be on this show. I don't want y'all to come back to this show. I think you guys are a perfect fit for Smothered. So Colt throws his mama from the train and he decides to stay and celebrate with Jess and her family. Just have a good time. He seemed like he was really enjoying himself. I see something there with these two. I see it more with Jess, not with Colt, because I think that he will do anything for a check and for fame. But I do think that Jess has stronger feelings for him than he does for her. So anyway, let's get into more bad acting. So the next morning, Colt has his hair like, you know, messed up, right? And he's trying to like act drunk or hungover. And he's, I had a good time last night. Too much of a good time. So he goes to Debbie's room. He's like, oh, I needed this. And he gets like some coffee and a biscuit or whatever. He's trying to act drunk, right? Debbie, who is still pissed, not even playing into this scene. She doesn't even recognize the fact that he is like trying to, you know, act hungover to get a reaction out of her because he likes making his other woman jealous. So she opens the door and she's just like, oh, how was last night? He's like, oh, I had a great time. I had a great time. So then they start to talk about how, you know, Jess was very aggressive towards Debbie, even though Debbie was wrong, right? That's his mama. You just cannot talk to somebody who you intend to be your future mother-in-law like that. You're just going to make things more complicated. You're going to make the relationship more difficult than it already is. So Debbie lets Colt know that Jessica cannot talk to your mother that way, and Colt agrees. So then Colt goes to meet with Jessica. Here's another scene, another bad acting scene where they're on the beach. And he's like, well, you know, when in Rome, do what Romans do. And he takes off his pants and it is revealed that he is wearing some sort of panties. Like, I don't know what this is. Is it swim trunks? Because they're like high-waisted. I don't know what that man was wearing, but maybe it was like, I think it was high-waisted swim trunks, but his fupa was so strong that the pants couldn't stay up. So they were like, the high-waist swim trunks were rolling down under his fupa, and then his wee-wee was like staring right at us. It was just uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because Colt also got these thick legs and he's knock-kneed and he's sitting there on the beach and he's like high-waisted swim trunks and a Stacey Adams work shirt. And I'm just like, what is this? There is no way that this is something that you would normally do. This is scripted. This is something that producers and you concocted and was just like, sure, I'm down for anything. I'm down to make the show. Like, this is, I can't, I'm done. There's nothing else that we need to see of this couple. It's all fake and forced. However, I think this moment with Larissa, I think it was partially fake, right? But I do think that next week it's going to get real with her and Eric. Because after, you know, Colt cusses out Jess and just like, that's my mother. You can't talk to my mother like that. I'm not a little boy. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We hop on over to Larissa. Oh, ma'am, Larissa, this is what I want to say about you. You are your own destruction. You really are. My mom feels bad for you. I don't. Because you make things harder for you than they have to be. Like, something could be going good for you and you're just like, you know what? Everything is too nicey. I need to burn it all down. That's what you do. That is what you do, because everything seems to be going very good for Larissa. Eric comes and picks her up, although I will say, when she told Eric that she got kicked out of Carmen's place and she ain't had nowhere to go, Eric was sitting on that phone silent. He ain't have nothing to say. And then finally he went like, well, I have some space here if, you know, you want to come here. That was more or less like, you know, I'll offer you a place to stay. I don't want you to accept the offer, but if you do, now I'm obligated to follow through. Like, he did not want Larissa in his home. From next week, the previews for next week, we all understand why. He comes over to pick up Larissa and move her over to his place. When he gets there, Larissa is just like, oh, you can't come inside. So you can only stay here. I have to pass you everything. And then in her confessional, she's just like, Carmen has been avoiding me. She hasn't said anything to me. So I'm just moving out because it's very uncomfortable. And I also have to get out because she put me out because I'm dating Eric. Now, this is the thing. We are not getting why Carmen is upset. Nobody is saying anything. All we get is that she doesn't think that they are good together, right? However, if this is your really good friend, she needs a place to stay. You don't agree with her boyfriend choice. Understandable. A lot of us never do. We never agree a lot of times with who our really good girlfriends, you know, date and marry, right? That's just life. Do you get this angry where you cut them out of your life? I think this is only the reaction if the dude is abusive, if something happened. Like, if he's beating on her, listen, you could take him back. I don't want no parts of you or him because that stressed me out. That I can understand, but like, nobody's saying anything. So I'm like, did Eric beat her? Did he put her in the ER? Did he steal from her? Like, what? Did he give her an STD? What happened? Because Carmen is really pissed off, but nobody's saying anything or, you know, telling us why. She was pissed off enough at Larissa to kick her out of her home. That is huge. If she's supposed to be her really good friend, she's putting her out on the streets. You don't do that if you're really good friends. So what happened? We're not getting that information. So either they're leaving something really bad that happened out of this story, or Carmen is in love with Larissa. Like, if nothing that bad happened, she's acting like a scorned lover. We need the tea. What is really going on here? So Eric takes Larissa to his home, and when we get there, his roommate walks out. And as soon as we saw his roommate, you know what I said? Vegas. Vegas. So the roommate is just like, so you're Larissa. And in his confession, though, he's just like, I don't want Eric to have his heart broken anymore. I don't think it's a good idea. But who am I? What's going on here? Vegas, that's what's happening. Vegas. So anyway, while we're watching this scene with Larissa, Eric, and the roommate, right next to Eric, this show is messy. This show is messy because when the camera focuses on Eric, it also focuses on a Hamburger Mary, fishnet stocking cup. Do I have my cup? I think I put it in storage. Do I have it? No, I put it up. I put it up somewhere. But they focus on that cup. And I'm like, why are you guys focusing on that cup? Y'all messy. Y'all messy, y'all messy, y'all messy. If you don't know, Hamburger Mary's is a very popular gay bar. And one of the things that they sell is the fishnet stocking cup. It's really, really popular. If you watch Drag Race, you see it all the time. Or you saw it in like previous seasons. So when we see Eric, we see that cup. And I'm like, whoo, reality TV. Messy. Because y'all saying it without saying it. Messy. You know, before I move on with Larissa and Eric, I did want to talk about Debbie at the dinner with Jess and Colt. Debbie was telling everybody at the table that they were both moving too fast. And then Jess asked her about her husband. Jess was like, well, how long did you guys date before you got married? And Debbie was like, 6 months. Debbie, how dare you? Hypocrite. How dare you? You dated. Not only did you date, you moved in with Colt's daddy within 6 months. And then the next thing you know, you have his last name on all your paperwork. You can't say nothing about Jess and Colt. They're moving at the same pace as you and your husband. Now, are you alarmed because you felt like you moved too fast and you got into something you weren't sure about and did not enjoy yourself? Do you think that your marriage was the wrong choice? If not, let this man live. I'm thinking that she loved her husband, right? I'm thinking that she misses him, and if she could have him back, she would do anything to get him back, right? But I'm also thinking that she probably wish she would have waited a little bit longer. That's why she's encouraging her son to take his time and using Larissa as, you know, an example. But it's clear that Jess and Larissa are not the same person. So it's either you want him all to yourself or you don't want him to make the same decision that you did. So this episode ends with Larissa doing what she does best, destroying her life, destroying her life. So everything is great with her and Eric. She enjoys it there. Her and the roommate are getting along. They're both gamers. She's having a good time. She finally has a home. She has her own room. She got her man back. Like, everything is fine, right? Larissa decides to go through his phone while he's at work and call a woman that he used to date. This woman, also known as a producer, I don't believe for 1 second that she actually called the woman that he used to date. Because as soon as Larissa tells her who she is, she's just like, I don't know you. But what I do want to say is that he said all these terrible things about you. He was talking about your husband, Cole. Wait. But you don't know her. So how do you know that this is the ex that he told you that stuff about? Girl, what? It wasn't making any sense. I was watching this like, this is totally a producer because it's so staged. Nothing is making sense. Like, why are you going through his phone? If you and him are in a good place, why are you going through his phone? You want to find out what negative things that he said about you. Why? You were broken up. You had a bad breakup. You both were saying really bad things about each other because you said that you can't even tell your friends, or you're afraid to tell your friends that you're back with Eric because you said a lot of bad things about him to them. So they don't know this man. They hate this man. They hate this man enough to kick you out of their home because of all of the things that you said about him. And you realize that the things that you said were not nice. You said some really bad things about Eric. He said some really bad things about you. How are you now absolved from that? And you're angry at him for doing the exact same thing that you did. It's not making sense, Larissa. It's not making sense. And the only reason why you would do this is because you love the drama. You love the drama. You are a drama chaser. That's what you are. If it's not messy, you're not intrigued. You need mess. You need drama. You need destruction. You need Jesus, mama. None of this was necessary. And now what's going to happen? You're going to get kicked out of another home. How many homes have you been kicked out in Vegas? Have you even been there a year? You're able to live in these really nice homes. You're not living in hostels. You're living in really nice homes, and you consistently get yourself kicked out. You are the problem. It's you, not anybody else. It's you. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with this episode. What did you guys think about this episode? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. And if you like what you see here, please like, and more like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next Monday afternoon, because I think this is when this video is going to go up, for the following episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Love you guys. Bye.